300 million years ago, the Earth gave a great heave, and from the bottom of the sea rose the mountains. The land shifted, settled, the rivers were born. It froze and ground the Earth flat where they flowed. It thawed and baked and froze again, and finally it blew. And when the icy fire and wind had gone, two mighty continents were left, and they stretched from the bottom to the top of the world. Somehow from the air it doesn't look so bad. From a few thousand feet up, the mountains don't seem quite so high. The jungle doesn't close in on you. You can hardly see the roads, let alone ruts and mire. We were flying south. 12 drivers, 3 cars, 1965 Comets. Some of us the year before had driven rally-equipped Comets in the East African Safari. We were proud of driving the first American cars ever to finish the toughest rally in the world. Others have been part of that record 100,000-mile durability run by 4 especially equipped Comets at Daytona in late 1963. And now we were off again. Destination, Ushuaia, Argentina, on the island of Tierra del Fuego, jumping off place for Cape Horn and the South Pole. This time we were to take standard production Comets and see if we could push them 16,000 miles up the spine of 2 continents, from Cape Horn to Fairbanks, Alaska. 450 years ago, the Pan American road system was a dream of the conquistadors. Today, it's nearly a complete system, with a few nightmare exceptions like 11,000-foot mountain passes that leave you and the engine gasping for each icy breath, and 110-degree deserts that fry your tires and scourge a cooling system. But we didn't know about that on September 12th. It was a bright Antarctic morning, and as we stood for the brief starting ceremony, our private thoughts were to the adventure ahead. Finally, the moment came, and off we started. First stop, Port Porvenir, Chile, across the southernmost tip of the Andes and the island of Tierra del Fuego. The road, as they say, was not in good condition. It was spring in South America, and somebody took the bottom out of the roads. It was a long and punishing first day on men and cars, but we dredged on and made some 280 miles in 12 tortured hours. Second day, the Straits of Magellan. As we made a choppy crossing to the mainland, we thought of the 5 brave ships that passed here in 1520 and left their captain's name behind. Punta Arenas, Chile. A warm welcome. We thought we'd have completed the run instead of barely started. The Lord Mayor greeted us and asked that we deliver a message to the Mayor of Fairbanks, if we made it. We started up again and began the long climb up the back of South America. The beginning of Pampas country, still dapped with winter snow. The country changed quickly. The snow had melted and left behind a waterway to be navigated very carefully. And then the roads were dry, drier and choking. Clogging came the dust. We were engulfed for mile after mile, and day was like night. Then it passed as suddenly as it came. The road smooth, and we charged on. On the 6th day, 2,150 miles to the good, we entered Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina. Again, the welcome mat was out. The president, Humberto Illia, proclaimed us ambassadors of goodwill, bringing the Americas closer together. We drove on through the magnificent boulevards and picturesque streets. We were off again for the rich green pampas. A day and a night to the west, and we were in the wine country of Mendoza. On we sped into the foothills of the Andes for our second border crossing. The thaw was late at 11,000 feet, and in some places ahead, the road was buried under 14 feet of snow. At Los Andes, the only open route was the International Railroad Tunnel. So on flat cars, we traveled the 3.5 miles. It was festival week in the mountain capital of Santiago, but Fairbanks was still 13,000 miles away. The modern highway beckoned north. A few hours later, September 23rd, the joke was on us. Nothing we'd heard prepared us for the dread Atacama Desert. Treeless, lifeless, not a bird, not even a fly can live in this most desolate spot on Earth. But the highway was good, and the comets charged on, hour after hour, through 120 degrees of hell. We switched off, rested where we could. A quick check. Refuel, and off again. For the third time, we left the desert floor to climb the Andes. September 24th, we crossed into Peru. Pizarro called it the City of Kings, but Lima meant only a maintenance stop for us. A quick check, knock the mud off, and away. Mountains, flatlands, and we crossed into Ecuador. We'd been driving for 16 days and nights, and for the first time we began to wonder, could we really make it? Could the transmissions hold together for another 10,000 miles? Would those 289s blow on the next mountain pass? There's only one way to find out. On to Colombia. October 1st, end of the line. Barranquilla. The Darien Gap is the only real break in the Pan-American highway system where there's absolutely no road. We airlifted over the 500 miles of swamp into Central America and Panama City. Panama. Costa Rica. Nicaragua. Honduras. El Salvador. And Guatemala. The faces, the borders flashed by us as we passed through 6 countries in 36 hours. But in each village, we were warmed by shining faces. We were more than halfway now as the Royal Road stretched out into Mexico. Heat again in the deserts of southern Mexico. And then the welcome climb into beautiful Mexico City. North again over some of the best roads in the hemisphere. Guadalajara, and then Guaymas. We pressed forward day and night, eating up the miles. October 10th, Nogales, Mexico, to Nogales, Arizona, and we'd driven over 11,000 miles. We raced up the superhighways entering Los Angeles October 12th. Nine hours later, we smoothed out the hills of San Francisco. Then on to Portland. Seattle, and into Vancouver. Again, we were racing winter with over 2,500 miles to go under the blizzard-threatening skies of Canada and Alaska. October 16th, and the gold rush fabled Dawson Creek, entrance to the Alcan, now the Alaska Highway. Whitehorse, Yukon Territory, and it was snowing. Our goal was only one day away. Hours, then minutes, and finally, deep in the first snow of the year, we reached Fairbanks, Alaska. We were mighty proud. In 40 incredible days, we had driven our 1965 Comets from Cape Horn to Fairbanks. We passed through 4 seasons. We drove across superb superhighways and occasionally bottomless, muddy gulches. We crossed frozen mountains and some of the most arid desert on Earth. As for the cars, we covered 16,247 miles, and in doing it, we blew out only 2 tires. Later, the engineers estimated that in 40 days, we'd put about 2 years' wear on the 3 Comets. Above all, we showed the engineers and ourselves why Comet is called the World Durability Champion. It was quite an adventure. And to all those good neighbors who watched, who waited and cheered for us along the way, and to all of you, we've tried to say that the Americas are growing closer, day by day.